So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for our August virtual user group. We are excited to have you here with us today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Shay Bagwell, your customer marketing manager for IBI. I do know a lot of you guys on the line, so again, so great to see a lot of familiar names. And with me today, I have Aniket and Keith, who are going to be your presenters, talking all about the enhancements in WebFOCUS Designer. We know designer is a popular topic amongst all of you, so I hope today's presentation and demos are of value and that you enjoy what they have to show you guys. A few housekeeping, just as a reminder, the webinar is being recorded. I will send out a copy of the recording post event concluding. Along with that, you'll have a follow-up email with any pertinent information that we have to share with you guys, any presentation material that the presenters can share, my slides, and any other important information that we can share with you guys. If you have any questions for our presenters during their time, please utilize the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen and submit your questions through there. Keith and Aniket and myself will be monitoring that as we go. And if we can't get to your question right off the bat, there will be time at the end of the webinar to answer any unanswered questions. So don't be shy. Feel free to submit those as we go along. And with that, I'm going to go through a couple of marketing things for you guys. As you know, we always have some good marketing reminders to share with y'all. So let me share my screen here and go into slideshow mode. Okay, let's see here. Can y'all see, Aniket, can you see my
Yes, yes,
presentation?
yes.
Okay, perfect. It was switch screens on me. Okay. Here we go, guys. So customer resources that are available. As always, I like to always continue to promote the IBI.com. So if you guys, haven't been out to the new website, I highly encourage you to visit it. That is where you can find all things IBI. Whether it's webinars, if you're looking for events going on, we have our blogs out there. We have the resource library out there where you can see all the previous recordings. You can access support and e-delivery from IBI.com. So again, kind of your one-stop shop. You can access community and the education platform. So highly encourage you guys to visit when you're looking for resources with all things IBI. And as I mentioned, you can access the support portal out there. You can submit your help tickets through support. You can have the new product notifications out there. Product downloads are out there. The documentation site is through the support portal. So that's right there at your fingertips. I did mention all of our webinars, so any of the virtual user groups, the Focus Fridays, any of our in-person events, you can find on the website. We also post all of the previous recordings there as well, as I mentioned in the resource library. You can go back and review any previous Focus Fridays or virtual user groups that you might have missed or need to just refer back to. Those are all posted out there. All right, IBI Golden Summit. This year, as most of you know, is the 50th anniversary of IBI, and we are celebrating big. We are hosting our Golden Summit October 14th in New York. There is still time to register. There are still a few seats left. So if you are able to join us, we would love for you to. Howard Dresner is our special keynote speaker this year. And he will be there in attendance to speak as well as to mingle and talk with all of you throughout the day. The registration and agenda is open and live if you'd like to take a look and see what is on the agenda. And if you are curious or wanting to attend, but you're not seeing something on the agenda that you really would like to see, we're offering a choose your own session this year where you can submit your request to have your very own private session with one of our experts. So if there is a topic that is not on the agenda, that you are dying to hear about or need to hear about, please let us know, fill out the form, and we will make time that day for you to have that session done for you. And then always we have the expert room, so be sure to let me know, email me that you need time in the expert room so we can get you matched with the appropriate expert and make sure that we have allotted time for you if you are attending that day. So, really looking forward to this. It's an exciting event. Like I said, 50 years of IBI. It's a big milestone for us. And so, we'd love for you guys to join us and be a part of it with us. The IBI community, again, another super helpful resource for you guys out there. If you are not part of the community, highly encourage you to join. With that, you will be able to engage with our IBI experts. There are articles posted, there are a lot of great technical threads going on from your peers, as well as IBI. You guys can get a lot of questions answered. There's videos out there as well. So again, highly encourage you guys to join the community. It's just another great resource that's available that you can find some help or assistance, or if you're new, to ask questions. Just as a reminder of education, as you know, we did launch our education platform earlier this year. There's a webinar on it that we hosted in May. If you're interested, you can go back and view that recording. Explains basically how to log in, get started. There are new courses. There's a whole batch of Reportcaster courses that have just been launched in there. So super excited about those. So if you guys are looking for some new courses, especially around Reportcaster, head over and check out those courses. And then each quarter, we will be adding new courses. So that's part of the protocol going forward, that each quarter there will be new courses. But everything from beginner to advanced. So be sure to check out the education platform if you haven't already. If you're on social media, we'd love for a quick follow. We are on LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. Again, just a great way to keep up with all things going on IBI, especially through LinkedIn and X. And then with our YouTube channel, you are able to also view any recordings or videos that we post out there from webinars or demo trainings or things like that. So those are available for you. Also, we have our monthly newsletter. So if you guys are not receiving that or any of the invites for that matter, please let me know. I will make sure that you are added to our mailing list and make sure that you are opted in to receive these mailings so that you're getting all of the latest and greatest from IBI. Just a quick reminder for my colleague Hannah Knox on the two programs that she's running is our WebFOCUS upgrade program and the AI bootcamp. So if you guys are interested in upgrading to 9.3, you definitely want to take advantage of the program. If you would like more information on how to make this upgrade as seamless as possible, there is a quick form to fill out. It'll put you in touch with Hannah, and then she will have discussions with you on next steps moving forward. So really, it's IBI walking alongside of you in this upgrade journey and making it as easy as possible to get you on the latest release. And then, as I mentioned, the AI Bootcamp, this is your opportunity to dive into the next big thing. We have the expert sessions here. We have the real world examples here. And there also is a quick start course for the DSML installation. So if you are interested in what all the bootcamp has to offer, again, it's a quick form to fill out, and Hannah will gladly get in touch with you guys and discuss next steps. And pretty much if you need anything else, guys, don't hesitate to reach out, contact us. We're here to help you. As always, we want to make sure that you are getting all the assistance that you need and have the resources that you need to be successful. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Anikit, and we will dive into today's content.
All right, thank you so much, Shay, for that. Let me share my screen. All right, morning everyone. This is Aniket. So I'm the product manager for Designer, and I'll be walking you through what we have done in 934 and 935, the updates that we have done specifically for IA gap related item. And then I also have Keith, who is the lead on the account strategy side. So he will be walking you through the demos. And at the end, we will also give you a sneak peek of what you can expect in the upcoming releases from us. So starting off, This is what the agenda is. So we will start with the 94 updates, namely these three features in which you could reorder filters, sort them, sort the drop downs, and a feature from I, which is ranking. So your reports. So you could use that in Designer. And moving on, we will have 95 updates in which I will help you explore the updates that we have done to prompted filter specifically, some of these scatter plot enhancements, and then data bars for report. Again, a feature from IA that we are migrating over. Starting off with the 94 updates, some of the updates that we have done is the first one. This is reordering prompted filters. So earlier, if you had in Designer, if you have used um, prompted filters which appear on the filter toolbar, you know that you can't, once you have set the order, you can't change that. So for example, in this case, if I had set country, car, and body type and model, if I had to, let's say, change, if I wanted to bring model to the third position, I would have to redo everything. We have improved upon that, and now what you can simply do is you can use a drag and drop mechanism, and you will also have a placeholder indicating where the drop zone would be for that filter. You don't need to redo everything. You can basically start from your previous work and save time. This helps you to simplify the workflow. It helps you enhance your precision. So for example, if you want a certain filter at a certain position, you can simply do that. It is seamless, and also obviously it we are maintaining the chaining as well in these filters when you move them around. Some minor enhancements include specifying the sort order. So in IA, you could specify the sort order in a particular dropdown. So if you have SKUs that are in the later order, so now you can sort them using ascending and descending feature, and the latest SKU will now appear at the top. If you have descending or if you have ascending, starting from A to Z, the A, B, C, those names will appear at the top. Ranking and report. So this is a feature that we had in IAS. So this allows you to add a rank column, basically allowing you to easier view the data in a ranked order. And this basically was a feature from IA that you can obviously migrate to Designer. So if you have reports that you had created in IA, you can simply open them in Designer and they would still have the rank field maintained. And you can also add either modify the existing rank fields or add a new rank field in Designer. Moving on to the 935 updates. So we have made significant changes to our, again, prompted filter. So the first change that we have done is now allowing the users to rename the prompted filters. So the amper variable that you guys might be familiar with. So this is what I have on the screen is the amper variable. So you can now rename that. So if you have multiple pieces of content and you want different filters to control different content, you can just simply rename the amper variable, and using that, it gives you the flexibility to tailor your targets, and you can basically now you use this simple flyout menu rather than using text editor and then renaming the amp in the text editor. You can do it from the UI. So this gives you more clarity. It simplifies the workflow and provides you with a option directly in the GUI to update your parameter name. Apart from that, we have also made change to the title itself. So earlier, the titles were fixed. Whatever is in the master file, we would just fetch that and display them in Designer. So if, let's say in this case, if the title was country, we would just display country in the prompted filters. But we understand that a lot of our users have custom titles, wherein rather than just showing country, they want something meaningful, such as, let's say, select a country or pick a country or choose a country. In that case, we have now provided you with the option. So now you can just simply right click on it and you have the title option, the rename title. You can enter your specific title there. And with that, it will not only respect it during design time, but also runtime and in auto prompter also. So in all the three places, you will have the same title being displayed. So it gives you a better customization, better workflow. So similar to the parameter where you had to do it using text edit. Now you can do it directly from the GUI. So it gives you a better workflow and a better experience overall. Then some charting enhancements that we have done is now using the scatter plot, you can set custom markers. So if you have a scatter plot and you want to, let's say for product A, you want to set a square, product B, you want to set a diamond, and product C, you want to set a, let's say, cross. In that case, you now have the flexibility to set different markers for um, different products or different items in your in the bucket. So this gives you a better visualization experience wherein you now can, rather than just seeing circles and color, and if they overlap, basically you have a hard time seeing them. So this gives you a better option to viewing them so that you can at an instance gather more insights while not going further deep. You can also customize the size. You can set um, custom border thickness and custom color for your shapes. So that's with regards to this customization option. And then a reporting enhancement that we have done in 935 is ability to add data bars. So data bars gives you um, it can be used as a quick visual tool to understand your data. So you can apply data bars on a particular field. In this case, I have applied it to a retail cost, as you can see in the image. So it's giving me a visual indicator that, okay, West Germany and BMW car has the highest retail cost. And then, as I can see, Datsun has the lowest retail cost in Japan. So this gives you a visual cue. And the enhancement that we have done from IA is that now you can set custom colors for positive and negative colors. So earlier in IA, it would just be gray color, but in Designer, you now have the option to set different colors. So in case if you want to set red color for negative and green color for positive, you now have that, and all of these options are available in the GUI. And again, if you have any content that was in IA that you want to leverage in Designer, you can just use the right click option to open it in Designer, and all of the features that I just mentioned would be supported by default in Designer again. So you can continue your work and start building upon the content in Designer. With that, I would like to hand it over to Keith, who will be doing us the demo. So Keith, over to you.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Should we get that going? Okay. Can you see my screen, Aniket?
Yes.
Okay. So I've been with information builders for over 20 years. And as Aniket said, I'm with the IBI ATS group. And I just want to use a quick pencil to cross out that TIPCO and put IBI in there on that first slide. And I think the most important thing here, and what Aniket kept talking about, is simplifying the workflow, easier workflows, bringing those capabilities right to where you need them. So Aniket's put all these wonderful, ordered everything by release number. And so I'm going to completely go out of that order because I sort of want to walk through a workflow with you, incorporating some of these new capabilities that Aniket's talked about. Excellent. So today I attended the seminar, and I've gone back to my office, and I work with a financial institution, and we are looking at our car loans and the competition that's happening in 2025 in terms of who's ahead. So that's sort of the scenario I want to walk through with you today. And to make it real easy, my boss has sent out a report that he figures he's captured a lot of the things that he's wanted to do in this new analysis. And if you know anything about the report, you can see clearly this was created with InfoAssist because he hasn't really kept up to speed with all the new tools, and it's got data bars that are repeating the sort. He's got all the regions mixed in, so it's very difficult to see how the individual regions are doing against each other. And when I talked to the manager of loans, he said, I really want the idea of, region versus region. And at this point, I wanted to get a really good game sound effect into my presentation, but I just have to go with my excitement in my voice. So we're going to take this data and this report, and we're going to work on some of those requests that the loans manager is asking for. Well, first off, one of the cool things is, if you've kept up to speed with everything, is I can take that report that he sent me and I can open it up with Designer, which is a much easier tool to use, very user-friendly. And it opens up those data bars and it gives me everything that was in the report. But you know what? I'm going to modify a few things to get started. because he's not really a reporting person. But I'm going to switch this over to HTML5. No one does anything in HTML anymore. As I said, he's got data bars over his sort data. So, we'll remove those data bars. So you notice even in Designer, I can manipulate those elements that were created in InfoAssist now that data bars has been incorporated here. But I think I'll use data bars somewhere else. As I said, he's interested in looking at region versus region. So we'll take the region out of the report here. And now, I've got it down to a level where we're looking at who's doing the loan work and what branch they belong to and how they're doing in their current sales for 2025. But, in the data that comes from the data warehouse, I also have, what are the targets, because having a big number is not against a target isn't very useful. And I can also look at the variance to that target. So now I've got a lot more information. And I'm going to remove the sorting that was on here. And now what I can do, because I attended that wonderful seminar and Aniket told me about all the ranking that was in here, is I can now take that sales from 2025 and I can rank it. And of course, this is sales. Everybody wants to know who's ahead. So we'll rank it by our overall sales. And now you notice I've got that same ranking and sorting value up here, and I can rename it. I can change the title. I can unhide that sorting variable that's there as well if I wanted to use it, or I can leave it hidden. So I've got lots of capabilities within the ranking. Well, they're also not interested in the list of hundreds and hundreds of people that are part of this sales initiative. They're really only interested in the top 25. So I'm just going to limit that to the top 25. And if you notice, everything is still right where I need it. The ranking is there, the sorting, the limiting the sorts. But I want to bring that region back. So let's go and take a look at that region dimension under branch. And this is where I want to be able to filter it, because I want to take a look at individual branches. So I'm going to change that to a single filter, and let's take a look at the West. And I just want to take a quick look at that report. Hey, that's it. I've got my rank. I've got my top 25 people. I've got the branch they belong with and how they're doing in terms of their overall sales. So that's getting most of the way there that I want to get there. Let's just take a look at the Eastern region. I always like to double check my work. Now I've got an issue. If you notice in the ranking, I've got two people, fluke upon fluke, who have exactly the same sales numbers for year to date in 2025. So they come up as both tied for 12, which is exactly what you want to see. But I only want to see the top 25. And if you notice, the next person is labeled as 13th. And that's really going to give me 26 people. So it's not quite exactly what I want. So I'm going to have to make a quick change to the report so that we can remove that continuous numbering. And this comes into the fact that in the set variables, and if you're not using the set variables, it's a really cool way of customizing how things behave. And in particular, there's the ranking set variable, and currently it's set to dense, so it's going to keep the numbers in sequence, and I'm going to want to set it to sparse. And now let's take a look at that Eastern region. Aha, that's what I'm looking for. So I want 12, 12, and then I want to jump to 14 because I really want the total number of people in my report to be 25 in this region versus region. So I added the other thing I might want to do quickly is I'm just going to add a title because we're going to be filtering on region so that we can see which region this report is working for, is going to go to. There we go. And we'll just double check that. And there we go. Okay, so now we know what region we're looking at because I took it out of the report. Now, branch region is nice. That's the name of the variable. But if I want to use this in a dashboard where I've got two regions against each other, I really got to be explicit about this. So I really want to change the title to Region 1 Selection. So now it's very clear. I really want to select my first region on this. Okay, so that's really, I've got that working. I can change it in the report, and I can take a look at all my different regions. But, you know, although I can see it in the sorted order for sales, I'm really not seeing that variance, like who's ahead, who's behind, how much are they behind. So that's a place where, again, going back to that virtual user group that Aniket told us about, we can add data bars right here in Designer. That's a bit more visual. Some are ahead, some are behind. And as Aniket said in the presentation, I think I'll make it just a little bit clearer. So if we take a look at our columns and we take a look at the values, because we're not in the titles, I always get confused on that. And then I want to look specifically at the variance. Watch what happens. Aha, I now have data bars showing up, and I can start to change the format of these data bars. So I'm going to make my positive above quota green, and I'm going to make my negative yellow. So now that really shows me that my top 25 people are doing well. A lot of them are ahead of quota, and a couple of them are still not quite up to quota in terms of their personal targets. So I think that really gives me a lot more information in a report, and now I can start to deploy this. So I'm going to save this as my sales ranking report. Now, I mentioned I really want to have two regional reports on my dashboard, and I want them controlled separately. So this is where that ability to change my filters and my prompting all can come in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as my sales ranking, but I'm just going to call it 2. So 1 versus 2. And then I'm going to change the parameter value, because I want this report now to be driven by a different parameter. And I'm going to call that parameter region 2. So I know that the report 2 is going to be driven by the parameter name region 2. And then I'm going to change the title, because in my other report, it's region 1 selection. So just to be clear, again, fine control of how I'm presenting my prompts and where the prompts, with what variables the prompts are going to use and fulfill. And this really creates a lot of flexibility for us. Okay. And then I'm just going to save that one again. So I have 2 reports, and now I want to develop that region versus region dashboard that the loans manager wants. So sales ranking. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go and assemble visualizations. And I like to start with a blank visualization. And in this case, we're going to take that sales report, drop it into the left panel, and our number 2 report, dropping it into the right panel. And then we'll make them a little bit bigger because we want the reports to completely fit on the page. So I've got my, my 2 reports going against each other. But if we take a look at filters, what we can see is that region 1 selection is binding just with my sales ranking report, because the variables in that match. But it's not binding to my sales ranking 2 because it has a different variable name. So now I can have 2 different filters for the same value that are broadcasting to different containers on my page. So let's add those in. And we can see that I'm going to default this one to West. So now we've got West versus East, which is a good starting point. for our dashboard. We can select region 1, and it's going to drive region 1 container, and region 2 will derive region 2 container. So now I can quickly tie together the theme of region 1 versus region 2 by changing my selections, changing the variables, and how they drive. So let's take a look at how that looks when we run it. And there we have our ranking of the Western region. Oops, forgot to set that on the report. So we've got Western region versus Eastern region. We can see clearly, the top performers are obviously above quota. We've got some people who are still in the top 25 that haven't quite made quota. But we can also go around and we can look at, the main office versus the central office, or even go back and take a look at the Eastern region. So now we've got some flexibility to do that region versus regional comparison and see not only how they're doing as a team, but also how the individual performances are doing. And we've done that using, changing the prompt titles, but more importantly, changing those prompt parameters so that we can drive different content within our dashboard. And I am going to save that. My sales ranking dashboard. So we've taken some of those new capabilities. We've very quickly created a new dashboard for our sales ranking. But that's really only half the story. And I've also got a whole bunch of new things I want to try that have just come out in 9.3.4 and 9.3.5. So in the loan business, we want to take a look at how are we doing in terms of selling loans. But of course, after a loan is in play, there's a lot of people who are interested in, are people making the payments? Are there delinquencies? How long have they been delinquent? So the other side of the loan manager's dashboard, or loan manager's interest, is how are the loans performing? So let's take a look at that. And to look at that, what I'd like to do is take a look at some delinquent analysis. So we're going to create a new visualization. And of course, I have my loans data sitting in the data warehouse. But I want to try the new capabilities in the scatter plot. So let's take a look at the scatter plot. And now we can start to develop a visualization around how is the delinquent loan portfolio looking. So of course, I'm going to be interested in my delinquent balance. How much is outstanding that is not been paid? So we'll look at that from a vertical perspective. And then what I'd really like to see is based on the age of the actual loan. Is it a loan we did last year, or is it a loan we did this year? How is it doing over time? So we're going to take a look at the year and month, and we'll put it in from a horizontal perspective. And I've got a whole bunch of data that's sitting down here. Oh yeah, that's because a whole bunch of the loans are really good. They don't have any delinquency. So I might want to filter those very quickly. So I really only want to know if the delinquency is greater than 0. Okay, so now we're literally analyzing our delinquent portfolio. I'm definitely seeing a trend. It looks like, in 2024 it was all about the same, but in 2025, a lot of the loans have larger values. Well, let's potentially take a look at sizing this by the number of days. So now we can look at both the dollar value on the y-axis, but we can also see the size of it is on days. And I really want to break that down by our branch region. So we'll put that into color. All right, now that's looking very muddy. I can definitely see there's differences between some of the regions, but it's sort of difficult to pick them out right now. But I remember what Anik said in that virtual user group, that I can start to really fine tune the representation there. So let's go over to formatting. And again, we're going to take a look at the series. And we can look at each individual series. So if we take a look at the central, we can see that it's a circle right now. We can change it to rings, ticks, all sorts of different objects. Lots of control there. We can change it to custom fills and borders. We can have hollows, solids, rights, opacities, and then we can adjust if we go to the custom colors, we can adjust the individual fill color and the border colors and how thickness the borders are. So we can really fine tune how everything looks. In this case, I'm just going to stay with the auto colors. And if the loans manager complains, we can come back and put circles around it, make it odd and unique colors. But I like to keep with my corporate color scheme for now. But I do want to change these other regions. So maybe for the East, I'm going to pick squares. And for the main office, I'm going to pick diamonds. And for the Western region, I am going to pick crosses. And so let's take a look at that report. And I have a really cool visualization. I can really see some trending. It looks like the Western regions, certainly getting worse in 2025. So is the Eastern region. Although the Central region seems to be the blue dots, the circles seem to be pretty even across both years. So I might want to add to this visualization. So I've got a great visualization, but I really want to turn it into a tool that will allow them to do some analysis. So let's add some filtering. I mean, they're always going to be interested in it by region and branch. And they also might want to filter on the delinquent balance. So in the region, I'm just going to change my title on this. And, let's be clear about what it is we're talking about, because region's getting thrown around in a lot of these reports. So I'm really going to call this the delinquent region. So it's really associated with the delinquent report. So they know what report they're looking at. And for the branch, I'm going to call that delinquent branch selection. And we can see that all of these are listed alphabetically, but in our organization, we really have Springfield at the top and, the East Windsor and East Longmeadow at the bottom. So I know they're going to ask me to change the sort order on this. And now that I can go in here and I can very quickly, I can have it ascending, descending on each and every one of my filters. So there's a lot more flexibility in our filtering right now. So I'm going to change that to descending. And we'll take a look at it. And there we go. Okay, that's the way we normally look at it. We got Springfield and Wilbraham at the top. And we've got East Longmeadow Mountain. Okay, that's more like how we take a look at our geography. And then we've got the ability to look at the individual, filter the value of the delinquent balance. But I really want to change this because I'm looking at a range. Again, we can change the title very quickly. So now we got delinquent balance range. This looks really good, except I've got all of the graphs broken down by region, so I really don't want that filter to be first. So this is where I probably should have put some thought into it and put the filters in the right order. But I don't have to do that because now it's really quick and easy for me to just grab the filter and change the order in which things are done. So now I can very quickly set a balance cutoff. I want to look at big loans, small loans, specific ranges. I can select individual branches to see how they look over time within my report. And then ultimately, if I still need it, I can actually select my regions. So now I've got a lot more functionality built into it within the designer tool. I've got a visualization that I can very quickly and easily see which regions have which values, and I can go back and finally adjust colors and border colors on the report. So I'm going to turn this into a dashboard because I want to very quickly just take this one report and put it into a page. So I'm going to convert to page. And you can see my headings came along and the right sort order came in. I'm going to make a full page report. And of course, we'll call this report delinquent analysis. And I don't need a name on that. So now I have this report, I have got it on a page. It's a new page called delinquent analysis. Let's just run this and see how it works and see if it's working the way I expect. So I've got all my regions spread out across the 2 years, and I can go in and filter to a specific range. I can go in and select specific branches that I might be interested in. Now, what's interesting is you notice that the branch, which is underneath region, because I've changed the sort order, so it's not just changing the order on the page, the actual order of the way the sorts are being applied affects both the report generation, but it also affects the linking of the parameters. So you can see that the region only has the regions for those branches that I've selected. And if I select just 2 of those regions, it's now affected my branch selection. So even though region comes before branch, they're still chained, and the chaining effect has been impacted by the changing of the order. And you can literally change that order by dragging from left to right within your report. So I still have all that wonderful chaining, but now I can fine-tune control how I want to drill down and what I want to look at specifically in my data. So that's really cool. So I can change the sort order of my variables. If you remember, we've got Springfield at the top, and I can change the names of them, and I can even change the broadcast of them. So I've used a lot of the features that Aniket talked about in building my new visualizations. And I'm just going to save that one as we'll call it delinquent analysis dashboard. Okay. So that was really fun. I mean, the ability to make those changes and fine tuning right within the designer itself has really sped up my ability to create content that I can get back to my users and specifically my loans manager. So just as a final step, let's take this and let's put the portal together, because I love the new portal designer in the WebFOCUS tool, and we'll create a loans portal. And I mean, one of the things I like to do in this loans portal is I always like to have a live preview. I know it can slow things down if you've got very complex portals, but I really like it that way. And then right now the menu's down the left. So from a navigation perspective, I'm going to go back to the classic. Let's put the tabs along the top. And then we can go into our sales ranking dashboard, bring that into a tab. Now, and I love the opportunity. I can copy it in so that it'll stay the same way forever, or I can link it to the original content, which I always like to do. So if that content changes, this portal will automatically get updated. And then I can bring that delinquent analysis in, and I'm going to link that as well. And now I'm ready to share this with the loans manager. And now we can see that I've got my region versus region, and I should have set that to default to West. So I got my region versus region analysis. I can see my top ranking salespeople. I can actually see the rank, and I've got the rank calculating correctly with the sparseness. And then added information about quotas and variance. And I've added visualization to that. So I can very quickly see who's ahead, even just a little ahead, or just a little bit behind, because I can even change, fine control those colors. So now with the data bars and the reports, I can really see some cool information. And I've got the exact same region variable, the region field, driving two different reports, because I'm able to change the parameter names, and they can apply and broadcast to specific containers. So I can change one, or I can change the other. And so I can really take a look at any region versus any region in my region versus region dashboard, giving both the overall performance and the individual performance all in the same graph. And then on the dark side, I've got the delinquent analysis, where I can see that I've got some loans are starting to large dollar values and time values in my loans this year. So I might want to start taking a look at these, and I can start looking at a couple of branches that I think might have some particular issues, and I can start to do some analysis and drill down. Because I was able to change the sort order, I can actually pick my branch, because I really don't want to pick my region first. So the sort order now matches what I'm sort of going to be interested in. And I can also filter on, if you notice this filter updated again from the delinquent branch, I can filter it down even more and start to get really granular in terms of what it is I'm looking at. So what have we seen? Well, the fact that a lot of the functionality in IA is now in Designer, because we started this whole process with an InfoAssist report with visualization bars on it. And we were able to use that and edit it and change it into now this beautiful report, which handles the region versus regional ranking. We could adjust the data bar colors. We could rename the prompt titles to be more specific to what we want. And then because we can rename the prompts, we can actually control which variables are being broadcast to which container. So we can get some really fine-grained control with the common data, especially when you want to do different types of broadcasts to different types of containers, all right inside the tool, and just by clicking on it and changing the parameter names in the actual content themselves. Then we looked at the other side of delinquent analysis, where we were working with the new scatter plot capabilities. We took a look at changing the individual shapes, colors, outlines, to really differentiate that scatter plot, to take a look at our mortgage delinquency and our mortgage over time. Then we also took a look at how we could change the sort order, so that we could change the sort either ascending or descending very quickly with a single click, to match how our organization wants to look at it. And then we took a look at how we could, right within the drag and drop bar, we could literally change the order of how the filters are worked. And that we saw how that changes actually how it gets executed in the code. So not only are we changing it within the bar, we're changing how those filters are applied in the underlying content that they broadcast to. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen next within the product. So I'm going to turn it back to Aniket, and you're going to talk about what's next. There we go.
Right. Thank you so much, Keith, for that great presentation. I will now take you through and show what is the new features that we are going to introduce into our product. All right. So these are some of the features that you will soon see into our product in either upcoming release or the release after that. So these features aim at improving your creation process. So now you can basically create your report sooner and more effectively. This helps you sort, uh, you know, this helps you further see your data better by using advanced filtering options and to further fine tune your reports or charts with the header and footer options. So to name the features, we will be introducing ignore, not ignore. This is what we are calling it in Designer, but in IA, it was include and not include. And I'll explain all these features, the difference between IA and Designer, and also try to open some of the IA content in Designer and show you the feature, how it works. Multi-select the fields from the field tree, a way to distinguish, define, and compute. So in IA, there was a special icon that we used in the field tree to specifically tell the user that hey, this is a define field or this is a calculation field that you had added. So there was a visual cue that aided them to um, better view what was in the field tree. So we have taken a spin on it and introduced a similar feature in Designer. Then EQ operator for calendar control. So now you'll be able to specifically select a particular date in your calendar control and then report header and footer, report enhancements that a lot of our customers had asked for. And before I begin, just a recap, these are the features that we have introduced in 934 and 935. So 934 will have reordering prompted filters, sorting dropdowns, and ranking reports in Designer. 935 will have renaming parameter, editing the title, um, choosing custom markers in scatter plots and data bars. Now with that, I'll move on with my demo. So this is the IA. I have opened IA, and in IA, what the user could simply do is they could expand their field tree, and either using control, they could select multiple fields separately, or they can just use shift to select from top to bottom. And now what they could do is they could just simply drag these and drop it onto the canvas, and all of these would populate. As you can see, since these are measures, they have been added to the sum bucket. You could do the same with dimensions as well. So I'm going to use shift now. And with this, it has selected everything between product category and product model. And I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to drag them and drop to the canvas. It has it has automatically populated. And now, as you can see, the dimensions appear in the Y bucket and the measures appear in the sum bucket. This helped the user um, create the report quickly rather than manually selecting gross profit or double clicking on it and then again moving to quantity sold, so on and so forth. This helps you to just reduce the number of clicks and then um, improve the way you create your report. We have done the same thing in Designer. Let me switch to report. So in this case, I'm just going to do the same. So I'm just going to select product category, hold shift, and select model. So now these three have been selected. I'm going to drop it to the canvas. You see the indicator that shows that these three fields are going to be dropped here. So I'm going to drop it. They have been populated in the rows bucket and they have also been populated in the report on the canvas. I'm going to do the same. So this time I'm going to hold control, select revenue, quantity sold, sales unit, and gross profit. And I'm going to add them to the canvas. So they have been added, as you can see, and they have been added in the exact order that I intended to. Also, some improvements that we have done in Designer is that now you can do the same in filter buckets. So if I drag it, as you can see at the top, I can simply add them to the filter toolbar, and they will get added. Also, if I try to do this here, so we have maintained rules. So if something is not allowed, or if in case you can just drop one field. So in this case, I don't know if it's visible or not, but there is a light indicator that shows a plus sign and a red sign. So the red sign says that this particular field cannot be ordered. This is just a single input field. So just one field can be dropped there. So these are the rules that we have taken care of when we were making this feature. So And you also get a toaster message at the top saying that we were not able to add all the fields, or certain fields were not suitable for the bucket that you're trying to add. So this will help you effectively create your reports and create them quicker. Moving on to the next feature. So this is the report that I've created in IA. Now in IA, when you create these filters, these are just simple dynamic filters. And if you run them, the same three filters appear right here. I have to select these values and then submit it. But let's say I want to not consider a model. In this case, I've chosen store country, the product category, and model. This is from a sample retail database. Now, if let's say I just want to explore product category and country, and I don't want to consider model for now. What I can simply do is I can in IA I could right click and I had this exclude option. So what that would do is it would not delete it. It would not delete the filter. Rather, it would just exclude it from the query. So when I ran it, I only get two filters, and then I can go ahead and select, let's say Netherlands, and then I'm going to select stereo system. Let's see if there is any data. So yes, this is the data, and as you can see, model was not required here. Now we have done the same in Designer. Let me just hide this. Okay. So now in Designer, I have populated a similar report or similar chart. So here I have created um, using the same retail master file, I've created a bar chart and I've added product category to the horizontal bucket, revenue to the vertical bucket. So this is a product category versus revenue chart, and different colors indicate different product categories. I have added two filters right here, two fixed filters, store country and state province. Now let's say I don't want to consider store province for now, or I want to not consider country. So we have introduced this ignore option. So what you can simply do is you can ignore this. And as you can see earlier, we didn't have a camcorder. So camcorders appeared. So now it's considering everything and it is excluding this filter. You also get a visual cue that, hey, this particular filter has been ignored by this light blue color. You can at any given point simply just bring it back by checking it, and the fixed filter would get applied. This also is available on the dynamic filter. So for example, in this case, let me uh, pick only Netherlands. Okay, so right now Netherlands and Spain have been selected. So if I want to exclude it, I can just simply come here. Sorry, ignore it. I can simply just come here. I can click on ignore, and that particular filter, as you can see, has a lighter hue, and it's not being considered for the time being. Only the uh, previous selection that we had made is being considered, and I can just simply right click on it. I can bring it back so I don't ignore it, and right now the values for Netherlands and Spain have been selected. And again, if I have this report that I had in IA, if I open this, I can just simply click on edit with designer, and if I had any filter that was ignored, it will respect that and it will show it in the filter bar. So right now I didn't have any filter that was ignored, but if I had, it would have shown with a lighter hue, something like this, and it would have respected that. Keeping things going with filters, we have also made a enhancement to our calendar control. So in the calendar control, as you know, you can select ranges, you can select a value greater than or later than a particular date, but you could never select. Let's say, for example, in my case, I just wanted to select certain dates in a month. That was not present earlier. So what we have done is we have improved on it, And right now we have introduced this option, non, on, and not on. So on means only those dates which I have selected, show me data for that, and not on means excluding the dates that I've selected, show me all other data. So I'm just going to select on for this case. What would happen is the other options would go blank, and here you would have a single select calendar. And now I'm just going to select a date that I know has data on it. So I can select as many dates that I want using single click, and it will show me which dates I have selected. So I'm just going to select 4 and 11, and then I can select OK. So it's at the top is showing me that I've selected 4th of November 2025 and 11th of November 2025, and only the data for that particular date has been shown. I could also do vice versa, wherein I can go not on, and all the data except for those two dates will be shown here. So this is an enhancement that we have done, and you can soon expect this in one of our upcoming releases. Moving on, in IA, if you're familiar, to fine tune your reports or rather add more information, you always have had the option to add report header and report footer to your uh, reports. For example, in this case, I have created this dummy report, which is a dummy sales report. And at the top, I obviously have the header page report header, which is sales performance report. Then I have the name of the dummy company that I'm using, which is Acme. And then at the bottom, I again have my page footer and report footer. So at the page footer, I'm just putting in some copyright information that this reserves so and so forth. And then as my report footer, I'm just putting in that this is just for internal use. Now, how do these work is that the report header and report footer appears at the top of the report and at the bottom of the report. And let's say if you have multiple pages, then it remains the same. It will appear on the first page at the top, the header, and the footer will appear on the last page at the bottom. Whereas page header and page footer appears on every page. So the page header will appear at the top of every page, and the page footer will appear at the bottom of every page. Let me take a run this. I have PDF as the output selected, and let's see how it looks. So this is how it looks. As you can expect, the report header is at the top, and the report footer is at the bottom, and then you have your page header footer on every page. So this is my page footer, and this is my page header. Now, how did this look in Designer? So I'm going to use the earlier report that I had created. I'm going to get rid of these. Okay. So when I come to Designer, what I can do is I have in the settings panel these four options for reports. I have my page heading, page footing, report heading, and report footing. I can just simply enable those, and then I can see these placeholders for report heading, report footing, page heading, and page footing. I can just simply right click on them. I can edit, and I have this dialog box in which I can do my editing. So for example, I'm just gonna enter the same sales report for Acme Corp. I can style it if I want. So for example, in this case, I want Acme to be underlined, and I want it in this particular wine color. So I can style it. I can click on OK. And at design time as well, it will look like the styling would be reflected. I already have a such report created. So I have the placeholders. So here I have the report header, the report footer, the page header, um, and the report footer at the bottom. So this is exactly how it will look. You can, at any given point of time, if you want to modify, you can just simply right click on edit heading, and the same dialog box will appear. You can just simply do the modifications that you want. And even when I export it, so I'm good. For this purpose, I'm just going to keep HTML5. And as you can see, The report header is at the top, the page header is at the top of the page, and at the bottom you get the further information, which is the report footer and the page footer. Another minor enhancement that we have done is we have also introduced subhead and subfoot. So these features will be right here. When you right click on a particular dimension, you will have the subhead and subfooter present. So I'm just going to add subheader here, demo for VUG. I can again style it the way I want it. So in this case, I'm just going to keep it red. Okay. I'm going to apply, and then that subheader is going to appear after every category. And if I want to edit it again, I can just simply go back to subhead. I have the edit option now. It will bring up the same edit dialog box in which I can make further modification. Or if I want to remove it, I can simply just remove it. And same goes for subfooter. I can pull this flyout menu, bring up the dialog box and edit it. This is another feature that you can expect in coming releases. So all your header and footer requirements, subhead and subfoot requirements are also will also be covered soon. Now, speaking of some other enhancements, we have made or rather in I have created the simple report, and I just have one define. As you can see, the define has a particular icon indicating that this is a define. And if you have worked with your reports, you know that generally you have to make certain calculation. You have to create those calculations like either for performance measurement or for particular sales efficiency measurement or so on and so forth. And when you're working with many of those, it can become daunting that okay, where are my defines and where are my computes, so that can drag and drop them to the report. um, we have made enhancements to it. So for example, in this case, I have added several of these. All of these are no. Yes, all of these are, apart from revenue and sales unit, all of these are defines that I've created. How do I know that? I can simply right click on it, and then I have this edit calculation. So this is my gross profit margin, which is gross profit divided by revenue into 100, a simple formula that I had applied, which gives me a performance matrix. Now, experienced users will know that, okay, whenever I create a define, for example, in this case, let me just do it. So for example, in this case, I'm going to add, um, let's say sales efficiency. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick revenue and divide that by sales unit. So this is going to give me what one unit of sales, how much one unit of sales generates revenue. I'm just going to validate it and click on OK. Now for experienced users, they will know that this particular uh, computation that I've just added appears at the bottom. Now, while it might seem that, okay, I can just scroll down to the bottom and fetch it, but then when you're working with multiple, it could become daunting. So what we have done is we have taken a twist on the IA improvement, and we have added an option right here in the view selector, wherein you could choose to only view the calculations. So for example, when I check it, now I'm only able to view the calculations that are either master based or I have added them or user defined. So in this case, it becomes easier for me to work with them. If I want to modify something, I can just simply view them here, and I can right click on them and edit to make the changes. So this is a good quality of life enhancement that you can expect from the upcoming releases. And as promised, I'm just going to open one piece of content to show that it's supported. So I'm going to pick report header and footer, and then I'm going to edit in Designer. And yes, and as you can see, the report header and footer, the report header, the page header, the page footer, and the report header appears same as it did right here. And if I want, I can also edit it. And when I hit apply, I can see the changes at design time. So all of the features that we have just that I've just demoed you'll also be able to migrate it from IA to Designer. And obviously all the features that Keith had also shown in his demo, as he just showed, we will be also be able to open them in Designer. So with this, I would like to conclude the presentation and the demo, and we can now open the forum for some questions.
Okay, great. All right. Questions for Anikit or Keith? Please go ahead and submit those if you still have them. It looks like there is one waiting there, Anikit and Keith. To interactions question in 931, the only option for a select event is click. Are additional options available in later releases, such as load?
So yes, I'll take this one. So yes, load on event and other options will be available soon. So we are targeting some of them in the upcoming 936 release. So on load and allowing multiple conditions, those should be in soon.
Great. Thank you for that. Any other questions? While we wait, if there's any other questions, I'm gonna give you all a minute to submit those. But you probably just saw something come through the chat. I'm gonna do a quick plug here for our Summit 2026 planning. We need your feedback, guys. I know a lot of you have given feedback regarding this year, and with planning and timing and stuff. So we are starting our planning a lot earlier for 2026, and we would love to have everyone's input. So I threw in a survey in the chat. If you guys could please take a few minutes, head out and fill that out for us. It is extremely important to get the feedback from the customers when planning these events. So, like I said, please take a moment, fill that out for us. Help us guide us in the direction you need us to go for 2026. This will help leadership make some decisions. So again, your feedback is extremely important. Will version 10 be introduced at Golden Summit? Does anybody know the answer to that?
So I'll take that, Shay. So version 10 will be introduced in Golden Summit, as far as I know. So our current focus is, bridging the IA gaps and providing long-term support to our customer. So at this point of time, I don't have an answer for when 10 version will be released, but I think you can ask some of the people during the Golden Summit itself.
Thank you. Any other questions for Anikit or Keith? Just as a reminder, guys, the meeting was recorded. You will receive a copy of the recording. Also, when you log off, the general evaluation form will pop up. So if you'll please pop in there and give us your feedback from today's webinar, that'd be great. So I'm asking for 2 surveys from you guys, one regarding planning for Summit and the other from today's webinar. Oh, there is a question that just came in from Eric. Speaking of upcoming features, I have an enhancement request to add the ability for WebFOCUS to connect directly to Azure DLS. Any updates on where this stands?
Eric, the PM for integrations is another PM. So what I'll do is I'll follow up with them and ask to basically I follow up with them and try to get you some answers on it.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Evelyn, yes, I will send it. If for some reason the link, because it is a Google form, y'all, so if for whatever reason your organization is not allowing you to open it via how I sent it, I will also include this in an email. So when I send out the recording from today, I'll also send the summit email, summit link in the email. Get my words together. All right. If there's no additional questions, let's see. Everything looks good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you guys for attending today. Thank you, Anikit. Thank you, Keith, for your time. Great presentations, a lot of great information. I appreciate you guys contributing today. And if there's no additional questions, I'll let you guys have about 10 minutes back to your day. And we will see you next month for our September virtual user group. So thank you, everyone.